Hello children, this is your teacher McEnroe and I hope that you all are fine at home. Today I am going to teach you the lesson named Packing from the book Beehive of your class. So what I want you to do is, I want you to have your book placed right in front of you and do follow as I will be providing you the explanation. The lesson named Packing is written by Jerome K. Jerome. Okay, this is actually the name of the writer or the author, Jerome K. Jerome. Okay, and this lesson, or I would say the part which is being taught to you, the packing, is an extract from the book named Three Men in a Boat. This is the name of the book where this lesson or the portion has been taken or picked. Okay, Three Men in a Boat. This is the name of the book where again I'm telling you it has been extracted or taken. Okay, so I hope that you have already placed your book. Now I'm going to read out the paragraph, the first paragraph. I said I would pack. That is the first thing that is being stated there in your book. I said I would pack. Now the explanation. The writer, Jerome K. Jerome, that is Jerome, liked to pack luggage for trips and announced that he would do the packing. Now the next paragraph. I rather pride myself on, the meaning of that is in the bracket, proud of, my packing. Packing is one of those many things that I feel I know more about than any other person living. It surprises me myself sometimes how many such things there are. I impressed the fact upon George and Harris and told them that they had better leave the whole matter entirely to me. They fell into, the meaning of that is in the bracket, accepted, the suggestion with a readiness that had something uncanny. The meaning of uncanny is weird or strange about it. George spread himself over the easy chair and Harris cocked his legs. The meaning of that is bend the legs on the knees as he sat on the table. Okay, now this is the explanation that I'm going to provide to you. Jerome thought that his ability to pack luggage was better than others. He asked his friends George and Harris to leave the task of packing to him. The two friends agreed to his offer instantly, which was strange. George sat comfortably on the easy chair and Harris bent his knees as he sat on the sofa and kept his feet on the table. You are getting it, kids? Actually here the writer is showing interest towards packing. There are three friends, George, Harris and Jerome. They are about to go somewhere. But here what Jerome is actually pretending, or say what he is trying to show to his friends, that he is the person that who could pack better than anyone else. Okay, so what he had asked his friends George and Harris, that you relax while I will do the packing. Strange, right? It's uncanny. I mean, that is the meaning of on the screen. Uncanny means strange or weird. It is weird that Jerome wants to pack everything because he thinks that he is better in that packing. Fine, let's proceed. This was hardly what I intended. What I had meant, of course, was that I should boss the job and that Harris and George should potter about. The meaning of potter is do something unimportant things under my direction, I pushing them aside every now and then with, oh, you, here, let me do it. There you are, simple enough. Really teaching them, as you might say. They're taking it in the way that they irritated me. There is nothing does irritate me more than seeing other people sitting about doing nothing when I'm working. Okay, now the explanation. By saying that he would pack, the writer did not mean that his friends would sit and relax while he would do all the work. He had meant that he would boss upon them while they would do all the chores. He would nag them and curse them for not knowing the work well, and then he would chip in to sort out the mess that they would create. He was irritated to see them sitting while he did all the work. All right? Now the next paragraph. I lived with a man once who used to make me mad that way. He would loll. The meaning of loll is to recline or lean in a relaxed manner on the sofa and watch me doing things by the hour together. He said it did him real good to look on at me messing about. The meaning of that is to waste time doing something without a particular purpose. Now I am not like that. I can sit still and see another man slaving and working. I want to get up and superintend, supervise, or manage, that is the meaning of that, and walk around with my hands in my pockets and tell him what to do. It is my energetic nature, I can't help it. Okay, that was the paragraph, kids. I hope that you had followed me while I was reading it out. Now I am providing you the explanation. He recollects that once he lived with a man who would sit lazily on the sofa all day through and would watch the writer do all the work. The man would say that he enjoyed watching him go around doing all the work. This would make the writer mad with anger. The writer adds that he could not sit idle and watch others work like slaves. On the other hand, he liked to check their work, walk around with his hands in his pockets and direct them on how to do the work properly. He feels that he was energetic. He was part of his nature to behave in that manner. Now, this is the whole scenario. What it is all about, let me tell you. Jerome and his two friends, Harris and George, they are planning to go somewhere out. They are moving out for, say, tour or say for traveling. So here packing is actually the main thing that is being talked about here. The writer Jerome says that he wants his friends to be there, do the packings while he will be bossing around telling them that, see, this is how you have to do. Okay, I think you are getting my point. Actually, he is showing that kind of interest towards packing. Who? The writer, Jerome. Okay, he is showing that kind of interest that he wants to pack. But at the same time also, he doesn't want those people just to sit idle and watch him doing all those packing. So despite doing that, Jerome is telling them that please, it doesn't mean that you just have to sit on the chairs and relax yourself, recline yourself, but you have to help me out, or I want to be the person just to tell you that how you have to pack in such a manner that all the things inside our luggage should be in a proper manner. Okay, this is what he is wanting. Who? Jerome. He wants his friends to pack, and at the same time he wants those friends also to pack them properly while he will be guiding them and asking them to pack properly. I hope that you have got this. Fine, let's proceed. This is the next paragraph. However, I did not say anything but started the packing. It seemed a longer job than I had thought it was going to be, but I got the bag finished at last, and I sat on it and strapped it. The meaning of that is close it. Ain't you going to put the boots in? Said Harris. And I looked around and I found I had forgotten them. That's just like Harris. He couldn't have said a word until I've got the bag shut and strapped, of course. And George laughed. One of those irritating, senseless laugh of his. They do make me so wild. The meaning of that is mad with anger. Okay, the explanation. The writer did not say anything to his friends and started packing. As he closed it, Harry said that he had forgotten to pack the boots. The writer felt that Harris could have reminded him before he had closed the bag, but he thought that Harris was like that. This was followed by an irritating laughter by George, which made Jerome wild with anger. Okay? After he finished packing, Jerome, after he finished packing, his friend Harris told him, "Oh my God, I have forgotten my boots. They are still outside. I want you to put them in." And when it did happen like that, this guy, George, started laughing. And that was kind of irritating laugh. Okay? He laughed because Harris had forgotten to ask his friend Jerome to put the boots inside the bag. Okay? And while he was laughing, who? One of their friends. And who was that? George. He just started laughing, and that made Jerome wild. Means he made him angry. Okay, let's proceed. I opened the bag and packed the boots in, and then just as I was going to close, a horrible idea occurred to me. Had I packed my toothbrush? I don't know how it is, but I never do know whether I have packed the toothbrush. Jerome opened the bag to keep the boots in it. As he was about to close it, he was struck by a strange thought that had he kept the toothbrush or not. He says that he never remembers if he has packed the toothbrush or not. Okay. Now, while he reopened the bag, Jerome, okay, as he had to put the boots of his friend Harris inside, and it was forgotten. Okay, Harris had forgotten to ask his friend to put the boots inside the bag. So at the same time, while opening or while reopening the bag, Jerome was thinking that if he must have kept the toothbrush inside or not. Okay. These kind of things usually occurs whenever we are packing, right? We'll try to remember that what we have taken and what we have placed and what all is left, and we try to recollect them, right? So these are the things that usually happens. So let's see what happened to them. My toothbrush is a thing that haunts, it's the paragraph. My toothbrush is a thing that haunts to repeatedly give trouble me when I'm traveling and makes my life a misery. Sad. I dream that I haven't packed it and wake up in a cold perspiration. The meaning of that is sweat. And get out of bed and hunt for it. Hunt to search for it. And in the morning, I packed it before I have used it and have to unpack again to get it. And it is always the last thing I turn out of the bag, and then I repack and forget it and have to rush upstairs for it at the last moment and carry it to the railway station wrapped up in my pocket handkerchief. Now the explanation. Jerome adds that while traveling, he always messes up with carrying his toothbrush. He has nightmares of not having packed it, wakes up in sweat and looks for it. In the morning, he packs it before using it, then unpacks the bag to get the brush and uses it. As it is the last thing that comes out of the bag and he has repacked the bag, he forgets packing it again. At the last moment, he rushes to his room to get the brush, and finally he wraps it in his handkerchief and carries it to the railway station in his hand. OMG. What all happened to these people? See, here, this thing is a funny thing right now which is happening with Jerome. Jerome is having a trouble with his toothbrush all the time when he has to pack. In terms of packing, when he does that, he always forgets things like the toothbrush, which is really important. Don't you think so that toothbrush is important? It has to be carried with us whenever we are moving out, whenever we are traveling. Isn't it so? Yes, it is, right? So this one, the toothbrush, is actually the main object which Jerome usually forget to put in his bag. And that's why he has said that it haunts me to forget the toothbrush. Actually, because that is a troublesome for him whenever he is carrying his luggage. He always forget the toothbrush. Okay? And here he has thought that he must have forgotten something, and that was his toothbrush. So what he did, he woke up, okay, in the middle of the night, and he just kept the toothbrush. I mean, all those funny things are happening now. Let us just proceed and see that what all things will be happening with these three people: George, Harris, and Jerome. The next paragraph. Of course, I had to turn every mortal thing. The meaning of mortal thing is every ordinary thing out now, and of course I could not find it. I rummaged, the meaning of rummage is searched in a hurried or careless way, the things up into much the same state that they must have been before the world was created. And when chaos, the meaning of chaos is confusion, reign, R-E-I-G-N-E-D, reign, the meaning of that is ruled. Of course, I found George and Harris's 18 times over, but I couldn't find my own. I put the things back one by one and held everything up and shook it. Then I found it inside a boot. I repacked once more. Okay? So we will see with this explanation that is being provided for you. As Jerome was looking for his toothbrush in his bag, he had to remove everything, but he could not find it. He created a mess. He found his friend's brushes many times, but could not find his brush. He kept everything back into the bag one by one, shaking each item, and finally found the brush inside a boot that once again he repacked the bag. Okay? See, as I told you, in the middle of the night he woke up just thinking about the toothbrush. But I told you also that he had found it and he had kept it. That was when he was looking for it and he was really working hard to find it. Okay? Whenever he was trying to find this toothbrush, who? I'm talking about Jerome here, the writer, the author of this lesson. Okay? Whenever he was trying to find his toothbrush, you know what happens to him? He will find, or he will just see those toothbrushes of his two friends, Harris and George, but he won't find his own toothbrush. So eventually he had to search the house just for the sake of the toothbrush. Okay? And then when he found it, he just found it inside the boot. Okay? And just because of that, again, he was angry, he was a little bit sad. My God, I mean, like, where is my toothbrush? It's inside the boot. Okay? And he messed up everything. You know the meaning of messed up? I mean, like, everything were not in a proper manner. He just unpacked the one which was packed before. The bag was packed and nothing was left outside until he found out, or until he just thought that he must have forgotten his toothbrush. And then when he was trying to find out or figure out the toothbrush, he just unpacked, he removed everything from the bag, and then he was trying to locate his toothbrush. But whenever he was trying to do that, so he will just see the toothbrushes of these two people, George and Harris, who are his friends. Okay? And that made him angry. But in the end, he found his toothbrush. And where he found it, it was inside the boot. Okay, let's go on. When I had finished, George asked if the soap was in. I said I didn't care a hang. The meaning of that is show no concern or interest, whether the soap was in or whether it wasn't. And I slammed, shut the lid forcefully and loudly. The bag shut and strapped it, and found that I had packed my spectacles in it and had to reopen it. I got shut up finally at 10:05 p.m. and then there remained the hampers. The meaning of hampers is basket used to carry food, utensils, etc. Harry said that we should be wanting to start in less than 12 hours time and thought that he had and George had better do the rest, and I agreed and sat down and they had a go. Okay? That is given in your book. Again, I'm telling, you must follow me while I read out the paragraph so that you will know at least the meaning of those difficult words which are there in the paragraph. Okay, kids? So I don't want you to miss that chance. Fine. Let's proceed with the explanation. Now, when Jerome closed the bag, George asked if the soap was there inside it. Oh my God. As Jerome was impatient, he replied that he wasn't concerned if it was there or not, closed the lid and strapped the bag. Then he realized that he had packed his spectacle in it too and had to open it again to get them finally. So here it is. When he found the toothbrush, he put it back inside the bag. Okay. And then he repacked and everything was done. But then George asked if the soap was there inside it or not. Now what? Soap? As Jerome was impatient, see here Jerome is the person who is really impatient if something is left or forgotten. So again here George is trying to remind him, see whether the soap is there or not inside. And Jerome, being impatient, he is unpacking just to find out whether the soap is there or not. Let's see, I mean, like what all is happening with these three people. He replied that he wasn't concerned if it was there or not. Closed the lid and strapped the bag. Then he realized that he had packed his spectacle in it too and had to open it again to get them. See, now this is the thing. See, he was less concerned about the soap. Anyway, he would be, because he would find somewhere a shop where he could buy a soap and it won't be a problem. But then again something strike in his mind. Oh my God, I think I must have kept my spectacle inside the bag glass. Okay, I have to take it out. Okay, and then this guy again is unpacking because George just reminded him that look for the soap whether it is there or not, and then he was less concerned. Jerome was less concerned and he thought, okay, leave it, we don't care about the soap. But at the same time he was thinking that he must have left or kept his spectacles inside the bag. So eventually what he has to do now? He has to unpack again. Okay. Finally the bag was closed at 10:05 p.m. Then they had to pack the food baskets. Harry said that as they were left with less than 12 hours to leave, they should pack the baskets as well. Harris decided that the food baskets would be packed by him, and Jerome agreed to take his turn for some rest while his friends packed the baskets. Okay. So they are also packing the foods, the utensils, because they will need them, right? If they feel hungry, they would eat something. So they were packing the utensils and those food items. The next paragraph. They began in a light-hearted spirit. The meaning of that is to be cheerful. Evidently, clearly, obviously, intending to show me how to do it. I made no comment. I only waited, with the exception of George. The meaning of exception here is a person or thing that does not follow the general rule. Harris is the worst packer in this world, and I looked at the piles of plates and cups and kettles and bottles and jars and pies and stuffs and cakes and tomatoes, etc., and felt that the thing would soon become exciting. The explanation. George and Harry started packing the hampers in a happy mood. See, the meaning of hampers is food items, or say, like those utensils which will be used while eating something. Those are called the hampers. Okay. It contains the food items and all. All right. So George and Harris started packing the hampers in a happy mood. They were happy. Who? George and Harris. They wanted to show Jerome that they could pack well. They just wanted to show their friend Jerome that they could pack well. Jerome waited for them to create a mess because he considered Harris to be the worst packer in the world. Jerome looked at the piles of plates, cups, kettles and bottles, the jars, pies, cakes and tomatoes which had to be packed into the hampers. He thought that as the boys would mess up, it would be an interesting thing to watch. Now, here is the thing. Jerome is enjoying now. Enjoy watching his two friends packing for the hampers. Okay, what all have to be packed? Those were the cups, the kettles, bottles, jars, pies, cakes and tomatoes. Okay, but when they were doing it, or when they're about to do it, obviously there'll be something messy. They are going to mess up everything, because Jerome is considering Harris to be the worst packer in the world. He is no good. Harris is no good in packing, so that's why he is considering him as the worst packer in the world. So definitely they will mess up everything. So now who is watching? Who is about to watch? It's Jerome. That who is about to watch them doing all those packing. They started with breaking a cup. That was the first thing they did. They did that just to show you what they could do and to get you interested. Okay, the explanation. The scene became interesting as they broke a cup at the start. Jerome says that they broke the cup to indicate that they could do that too and to make things interesting. So now they are packing those food items. Okay, they are packing those cups and pies and cakes and all. And at the beginning of their packing, they just broke a cup, and which was the start. So that's what happened. Okay, kids, I'm going to continue this lesson, okay, in my next class. And I hope that you have understood, and let's see what happened to these three people, George, Harris and Jerome, while they are doing this packing. Okay, so it's me signing off, your teacher McEnroe. # stay safe, stay healthy. Goodbye.